So, you want to launch a subscription box and don't know where to start? Girl, you are in the right place. I'm Julie Ball.
And I'm Renee Gonzalez, your host here at Subscription Box Basics,
A podcast for new and aspiring subscription box entrepreneurs wanting to avoid overwhelm.
So grab a coffee, some pen and paper, and let's have some fun. Welcome to the Subscription Box Basics podcast. This is Renee, your marketing coach, and I am here this week with Julie, your head coach. And Happy New Year! It is officially the first day of 2024 when you are listening to this, if you are listening live. So we are so excited to move into a new year with you. And today our episode will be short and sweet. We're just talking about our word of the year for 2024.
Yeah, I used to do the whole New Year's resolution thing, and I'd make a top 10. These are 10 things I want to accomplish. And then I just found that, like usual, so many things change throughout the year. And I would look back at that top 10. I'm like, man, one, it's not what I want anymore. Or two, things changed. So that didn't happen or didn't feel right. A few years ago, I know you and I switched to this whole word of the year thing. I don't know really where it came from, but I love it. It just gives you something to focus on throughout the year that's a moving target. These words are meant to be rooted in help you make all your decisions. But again, it's a moving target, so it doesn't feel so restricted.
Oh, absolutely. And as when some of our listeners may know, I love vision boards. I
Yes.
still do vision boards every year. I do vision boards for seasons, both in my life and if I feel I have a goal, I like having something visual to look at. And I feel like the word of the year is that, but in a single word, it's a visual cue, it's a mental cue that kind of keeps you on track with what your goals are. And when me and Julie say word of the year, it's definitely something that it still is interchangeable. It's something that in this moment, it's what we feel we want to step into the new year with, but we're not married to it. We can switch throughout the year. But we both have a word of the year in mind, and we thought it might be helpful for everyone listening to share it.
Yeah, and before I share mine, Renee, you're going to be so proud of me. I signed up for a in real life vision board workshop at our local yoga studio. And I did one when we first moved here, gosh, back in 2016. So it would have been in 2017 in the new year. And I just remember we sit in this circle, they put all the craft supplies in the middle, and they give you a big board and they walked us through it. And I felt like I just needed that this year, something where I'm in community with other people and we're doing these together. And I remember this was really cool at the end of this workshop that I went to in 2017. The leader of the workshop said, I encourage you, if you are ready to share it, share your vision with the rest of the group, because the more people that know what you want in your life, the more likely it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Oh,
And that's exactly what I was going to say. I've helped host them. I've done them both online and in person. Our family does them together now. And it really is, it's so helpful to have someone to help keep you accountable and really know your goals. And that's even if it's posting it online. So you can have someone to help be like, hey, how's that goal going? Or how's your vision going for the year? And really keep you accountable and just check in with you.
yeah, not only accountability, but also they may be a stepping stone in that journey. So
Absolutely.
when you decide on your word of the year, or if you make a vision board, don't be afraid to share it with people. Share it with our community, share it with us in the DMs, share it with people who are close to you. And if you've not done a vision board workshop before, Renee, I know you recorded one as a podcast episode a couple years back. So I'll make sure that we link that in the show notes if someone's listening and they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Without further ado, let's get to our words of the year. Usually, Renee gets a Voxer message from me in September or October. I'm like, I know what my word of the year is for next year. I'm so on top of it. I feel it. I know what it is. But man, you guys, this one took me a while to think about, reflect on, and really figure out what my word of the year for 2024 was going to be. And so I've decided on diversify. I know it's not like a super sexy word or anything, but as I was thinking about it, I've run a subscription box and I do coaching for that. But if you look back at my experience, there's such a host of other things that I've done in my life and that I've enjoyed and or have been profitable from a business perspective. And so just quick example, I've written a book. Obviously I'm a podcaster. I've have a lot of experience in marketing and sponsorships and service based, product based. So I have this background and I was like, I right now focus most of my time on subscription box coaching and I love it. But there's so much more to me than that. So, my idea with diversify is I've been dabbling in a couple other business models, and I'll probably share more about it in 2024 over the podcast. But for example, I started selling a couple products on Amazon. Amazon is a new to me platform. I've used it as a consumer for, gosh, decades. But as a seller, as a product based business owner, it's new to me. So it's super exciting. I'm learning that. I'll be happy to share details about that on another episode. And as far as other streams of revenue and diversification, my husband is working, he is now a general contractor here in North Carolina and he is renovating houses. So real estate and rentals is going to be, well, it is already, but I'm going to do some more focus on it and really lean in and learn more about the business model. So that's the business side of diversification. Now, I can also apply this very sexy term to my personal life too. So it is more about like getting out into the community, making more friends, getting more involved in volunteer opportunities. So I want to really lean into the word diversify in all different areas. So that's the long story short with my word of the year. And what I plan to do is put that word in the middle of my vision board when I go to that workshop. And then I'm going to have quadrants on the vision board. So it's going to be like maybe the top left will be business, maybe the top right will be personal, and then maybe I'll have spiritual or financial. I'm going to break it into kind of sections so I can look at each area of my life and see how this word applies and what I want out of it and what actions I might take because of it.
Yeah, I love that. And before I forget, you'll have to share your link to some of the things you already have live on Amazon in
Yes.
the notes too, so everyone can check them out. Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I love that. And I think it's funny because when I share my word too, it goes along the same track of your word, but I love your word because it shows it's okay to pivot. It's okay to try something new. It's okay to have your hand in multiple things. And as a business owner, it's a good strategy to have a lot of streams of revenue going. So I think it's a smart business move as well, but it's also something important to look at in our personal lives and be like, how can I branch out and evolve as a person too? So I love it.
Yeah, I feel like since I've been an entrepreneur in 2011, this has been such a focus for me that I forgot about some of the hobbies. Now, there's some that I still do. Like in the summertime, I still paddleboard a lot. I love that. But I haven't gone camping, like tent camping, in a couple of years. I haven't picked up my guitar in a couple of years. And so some of this stuff is just going to be like revisiting some of the things that made me. I am going to use my Christmas money gifts for a season pass to an amphitheater that I'm going to go to a lot of shows. So I'm going to have like a summer of music because that has always defined me in the past. And over the past couple years, granted, COVID kind of put a stop to a lot of that stuff, but I want to get back into the habit of filling all those buckets. I guess that's what I need to look at it like. Diversification of my life means I'm gonna identify all these buckets that I wanna pour into, and if one is empty, then by paying attention to it, I'm gonna notice that it's empty.
Yeah, I can't remember where I originally heard it from, but have you seen the level 10 chart? I'll see if I can find it and I can share it so we can share it with everyone else too now that I'm talking about it. But it's like level 10 and then it's in a circle and it has exactly like you're saying, personal, health, and it goes around and you rate it and you fill in the little bubbles from 1 to 10 and you rank where you're at. And then you look back on it and you're like, okay, like how can I get closer to level 10 on all of these avenues in my life? And that's like a virtual, or that's like what you're doing, but you're trying to do it for your whole life and really put it out there and make that your goal. So you're a level 10 life. I'll have to find out more
Nice.
information about it. But yeah, I love that.
Thanks for sharing that. I will definitely love to look at that. I love having that sounds like a great planner page.
Yes,
Just to
yes.
stick it in the planner and start
Well,
tracking things.
and that's exactly, I think when I used to bullet journal for a couple of years, and I think that's where I originally found it, but it's called level 10. I'll find out some more information. But yeah, you're creating a level 10 life in 2024.
Yes. I love it. All right. Enough about me. What is your word for 2024?
Also not very sexy. I dabbled with a couple words, but one I think that is the best at everything I'm trying to achieve. The word is streamline. I am going to streamline my life in 2024, both personally and professionally as a business owner. And I thought of a couple words, how I came across the word streamline and the not so sexy word that I will too put on my vision board is I really am looking to simplify my life in both personal and professional ways, but really stemming from or getting more organized. In years past, I've always been a like go and then pile this here, go and pile this here. And I really want everything to have its home. I feel like as my girls get older in 2024, when they're currently right now in fifth and eighth grade. So they'll be transitioning. I'll have a middle schooler and a high schooler, which is nuts to
Woo.
me. And I feel like as they grow, I'm trying to teach them life's lessons into really simplifying their life and getting organized. And we already do some things like we write in our gratitude journals, which I talked about in the wish list episode of episodes back, but really setting good examples for them. I feel like over the past year, 2 years as they grow older has really helped me become a better person too, because I'm like, oh, I'm telling them to do it. I should be taking my own advice too. So I feel like if I streamline and really simplify my life as a human for business
Mhm.
and personal, that it's just going to make everything we do in our life so much easier. And it really came from we do get to camp a lot. We're very fortunate. We have a trailer. We, even if it's like an overnight or 2 nights, we'll go on little trips. And when we are in our trailer, we are so happy and life is so simple and so easy. And we have just enough plates for us and not a million pots and pans. Like we have one of everything that we need and it's all we need. So I'm trying to reflect that in our life and in my office and really have a less is more quality over, or what is it? Quality over quantity
Yes.
is where I'm going for 2024.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to borrow some of that because I feel like maybe you women that are listening may feel this deep in your souls, but I feel like I'm the only one in my house that knows where everything is. If my husband's looking for something or if McKenna's looking for something, they come to me. I don't know if it's that I'm really good at finding things or if I just put things where they belong and I
Where they
know
make
where they
sense to you. Yes.
they make sense to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I'm able to find things, and so I would love some streamlining in my household. Now that you bring it up too, I love that idea. And with business, it really can be easy because there's so many ways to automate your business,
Mhm.
whether that's automated emails or, automated even like when you're paying your credit card, for example, you can set the setting so that it automatically pays the minimum due so you never get a late fee. Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't you set it up? You can still pay more or you could still pay additional times. But the fact is that you can automate certain things in your business. You can do that kind of stuff in your personal life too.
Absolutely. And back to the business side of it, just having a routine. And it's something that I preach and I try to practice, but I really want to get better at having specific days where I do specific tasks and really even specific days where I schedule appointments is a big goal for this year because I feel like I'm always like, oh, whatever works for you. And
Right.
before with the doctors, I'm like, oh, what a silly question. But now I'm like, if I just do appointments on Wednesdays, then I know Wednesday's my day where I run errands and I do appointments and it doesn't have make me shift things around for
Yeah.
appointments because it's only on Wednesdays or whatever it is. But I think really assigning a task or a day to every single aspect as much as possible in
Right.
my life, and knowing that it's not gonna happen. I'm human and I'm learning, but I'm
Right.
really gonna make an effort this year to make things as simple as me. What is it? Steve Jobs wore the same thing every day. Like, really, like, I'm gonna capsule wardrobe. I'm I don't know if I'll be in black every day, although I'm starting off strong. Today I'm wearing
Nice.
black, but I think a real, like, less is more, and making things, like, taking away the extra think work, because 'cause I'm an overthinker big time, so if there's less to think about, I think I'll be more productive in the year.
Well, how about this? Why don't we make sure that we both take some time in January, and you guys are welcome to join us if you want, to pick a day where you declutter your office. I started doing that, and Renee, I already showed you a little bit of my office recently, and if you're watching the video, you'll see that it's a different backdrop because I'm in the middle of reorganizing my office. But maybe you pick one day in January to declutter your office, get rid of all the papers you don't need anymore, minimize the office supplies. I know, gasp, minimize your office supplies. I
Yeah.
actually did that, and I found that I had a lot of office supplies that I don't use. They were just taking up space,
Mhm.
and I kept the ones that I really liked.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna finish doing that for my office. Renee, you do it in January. I'll
Challenge
hold you
accepted.
accountable. And
Yeah.
then if anyone's listening and they want to be held accountable as well, DM us and we'll check in with you to see, have you done this yet? And then you can do the same thing in other rooms too. I don't know about you, Renee, but sometimes I'll just get the bug in me, like where I'm like, I got to do this room right now. I've got to clean up the clutter in this room
Yeah.
because clutter in a room adds so much, mental load to
Mm.
me. It makes me not productive. It makes me chaotic in my brain. Does that make sense?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I'm the same way, and even the lack of focus, even if it wasn't something you told yourself you're going to do, even if you're not, it's not weighing heavy on you, "Oh, I need to clean the kitchen." If the kitchen's a mess, I can't focus because my brain's a mess too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the times how we work, is things just start to pile up when when our load of responsibilities are piling up too. And then if your room isn't clean or your office isn't clean, I'm literally in a corner of my office. And yeah, I challenge accepted. I feel like it makes it so much harder to have your brain clear, because it's also full with responsibilities and to-dos that are unchecked. Yes, challenge accepted. I am ready.
Nice. When I think of streamline too, your word, there's so many little things you could do. And I'll just give you an example of something that I recently did because I was wrapping presents and my daughter's really good at taking the scissors from our junk drawer and then not putting them back. So she'll put them in her room. I'll find them in random places. So I bought scissors and tape specifically for wrapping and I put them in a very specific box and they are with the wrapping paper. And so next time I go to wrap a Christmas present or whatever, I will have what I need. It's streamlined. The tape is there and the scissors are there. I know that's a really super simple example of something you can do to streamline, but I feel like that word could be really transformational for you and for anyone if they want to use that word because there's so many things you can streamline in your life.
Oh,
And it doesn't have to be
time.
big, like it can be little things like that.
Yeah, and that's a good example of, it doesn't have to be taking something away too. It couldn't be like getting less scissors, it was getting one more pair of scissors. I feel like that's, yes, and that's why I feel like simplify. I was like, "Oh, I don't just wanna simplify." Like, there's that's a perfect example of, sometimes it is adding more to your life, but just to make your life easier, eliminate a step. One more little story, but growing up in our family, I was the oldest of 3, or there was 3 of us, so I had 2 other sisters, and we would always fight about a brush, like a hairbrush, like, we only had 1 hairbrush, and now I have 2 daughters, and I'm like, "Why didn't we just buy more brushes?" Why so now, like, we have a million brushes in our house, but everyone has their own brush. We're never fighting about a brush now, but I'm like, "Gosh, why didn't we just buy more brushes? Why did me and my sisters all fight about the same brush?" So, yes,
That's
sometimes adding more makes your life easier.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so my word is diversify and your word is streamline. So if you're listening and you already know your word, tell it to us. We would love to hear it, would love to support you. DM us on Instagram, or if you are throwing around some ideas, would love to throw around some ideas with you. That's the kind of stuff we love to do, that talk and shop. You can meet us right in the Instagram DMs. So we hope that you had a fabulous holiday season and that you are starting the new year off right. The last couple episodes, we've veered off the path in telling you a little bit more about us, a little bit personal, sharing things like this, but we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming with lots of subscription box stories, hacks, training, all the good things in the upcoming weeks. Thank you always for listening. You would love if you would rate and review the podcast. It helps us reach more people. And I guess that's it for the new year. Renee,
Yes. And enjoy your new year. And we'll see you soon in the next couple of episodes.
bye, guys.
Bye.